Good morning, good evening, depends on where you are, I guess. Today we are going to paint some miniatures. This miniature and also this miniature. Just kidding, I don't talk like that. But if you do, nothing wrong with that. I often talk like, like all kinds of people and all kinds of folks from all kinds of places because I'm just a little bit cuckoo. So what I'm waiting for right now is, I guess I'll give it a couple minutes for one or two people to show up and I'll start drinking my coffee in the meantime, but oh, sweet relief. Okay. So what we're going to be painting today is the channel mascot. This guy is a half vicious, ravenous creature covered with fur and with sharp little teeth. You don't know if you can make those out. And then on the other side, he's a super high-tech robot, clearly the high-techiest. The other thing we're painting today is this little guy. This is an NPC character in the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is a Nintendo Switch game. He is probably going to be the most difficult to paint because he's already got a very specific paint scheme, because of the game, obviously. So we're going to be following a sort of a formula for him. In other words, they're already set colors, so I'm not going to deviate from that. I'm not doing anything crazy today. No washes, no zenithal highlighting, no oils or super complicated NMM or anything like that. So he's just going to look like he does in the game, which sounds simple enough, but in and of itself, it's probably going to add a little bit of complexity because there's a pre-established look that he has to conform to, which means the colors I want to be as accurate as possible, and the shading I want to be as accurate as possible. I want this to be a very specific and accurate representation of what he looks like in the game. That said, if you've seen most Amiibo toys, they're pretty basic in terms of the paint jobs. I mean, they've got all the colors blocked out, but there's nothing fancy. There's no shading. I mean, they're just kind of basic. But yeah, so, and if you're not familiar with the game, look up Kilton, Kilton. He looks like this guy. He runs a shop called the Fang and Bone. And if you're familiar with the game, you know that's where you get your things like your bokoblin masks and things like that. So yeah, that'll be fun to do. He's got lots of little details that with lots of different color variations. And then the last thing we're going to paint, which I might even actually open up with, is I made a bokoblin talus a while back, and I made a mineral deposit for it, which has a little magnet on there, which, just demonstrate the magnetism. There we go. It's a pretty strong magnet. You hear it really good in there. Anyway, so the magnet's in there, so no problem getting it back on the talus. But I'd noticed that in recent updates, the talus has a sort of a glowing kind of teal effect to it, which I can get into in a little bit. But I want to update this to kind of reflect that. So I can give this back to my nephew. This one's also going to my nephew. Hello. And this one I'm keeping, obviously, because it's my channel mascot. Get it? Bot Beast. So I guess we'll start with this one so we can get kind of that glowy effect. I've not done anything like this in a while, so it should be interesting. I do want to keep some of these sort of little copper deposits. I think the look I'm going to go for, and I'll demonstrate what that looks like in a minute, is kind of a very light glowing color, which kind of transitions into this sort of darker stuff. So the bottom I'm going to more or less keep alone. I might shade it a bit more, but I want to keep this copper ore more or less the same, but just kind of give it kind of a weird aura type glow. Let me see if I can find a picture of that, and then we'll get started with it. Boom, 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 boom. let's see. Meanwhile, I can probably show you a picture of the Kilton, so you get an idea what that looks like. Let's zoom in on him a little bit. So this is what the Kilton's going to look like. We'll get you up here. So you've got some details of the back and some details here. This is not actually on the figure, this sort of round patch. I'm going to try to emulate that just by painting it. But everything else is pretty much there. I didn't do quite as many stitches either. The buttons there, I forgot to put the string on the button. You know what? I'm just going to live with that because I don't really want to make a string for him. I could probably add it later. It was just such a pain. But yeah, I think everything else is pretty much just like this. So that's what he's going to look like. It looks like we got somebody on today. Who's on here? Top Cat. Hey, how's it going? Whoever just joined us. This is one of the figures we're going to be painting today. I'm also going to be painting this stone with a sort of a glowing teal effect on it. And I'm painting the channel mascot. Hello! So right now what I'm looking for is a reference for the bokoblin glowing mineral. And it looks like I found something. Let's see. That's a pretty good picture. Not this one. Let's find a large one. That one's pretty good. Here we go. This looks pretty good. I like this one here. Not a lot of detail though. Let me see if I can find a better one. These look pretty good. I think that's a pretty good reference. I think the color's a bit off on my end. This is actually a much lighter teal color. More like, let me see. But I think I've got a pretty good color for that. We're going to try this one. It's actually much, much lighter than this. This is like almost like a blue, but this is in reality, in the reality of my world, this is more of a teal. Just probably comes across on my phone as a sort of a light tealish blue. But yeah, that's what we're going for more or less. We're just going to try to give it a kind of glowy sort of top side for a bit. So let's start with that. Let me get some fluids and a little palette. I've got some paints here, just a few. And we'll go from there. So let's see. Get a little jar of goodness here. And I need something to use as a paint palette. Probably use that. This looks good. I'll just use that little guy there for mixing. So probably what I'm going to do here is go straight into the base color I think that I've got, which in this case is a Vallejo blue-green. It's 70.808. And we'll just use that as a kind of a very light base. I'm going to try to stay away from some of the darker areas because what I want to do is just kind of highlight some of this other stuff. So anywhere there's like black, I'm not really going to go over it too much. I'm almost inverting the color on this. So I want the light parts to be dark and the middle parts to be a little bit more blue. We'll see if that works. I don't know. We'll probably put some white in there too. Mix this one up. Okay. Put a little dot over here. Little goes a long way. And we'll see if this gives us the glowing effect that we're looking for. I think for now we're just going to figure out where we want some of this stuff to be. I can go back and blend it and add some stuff later. So I think like kind of a teal wash on here is probably all right. So I get some of that black showing through. And almost kind of keeping some of the copper in there too, because I don't want to get rid of the copper completely. Sounds kind of weird. You're basically painting your color in reverse, at least for what I'm going for. And I will tell you right now, I've never done this style. This is just kind of a little experiment I'm doing basically. We're going to see if this works and if we end up with the more or less the same result I was going for. Seems a bit counterintuitive, but let me see if I can. I'm going to smear this around. I really don't. There we go. Almost doing like a teal wash. There we go. Yeah, I think that's better. Don't be afraid to use your fingers. I don't care what anybody says. I'll just use my fingers for everything. For sculpting, painting, you know, you never know. Don't underestimate the power of the digits. I mean, for something like this, it's kind of like, you know, you just go with whatever seems to be working. And I don't want to go much further than maybe about halfway down. I'm sure there's some pro painters out there that are presumably going to watch this at some point or hear about it and just cringe, like, what is he doing? That's not how you paint. Like I said, we're just going to be experimenting a little bit. It doesn't hurt to go against the norm every once in a while. Maybe there's a particular look you're going for. And sure, there's probably lots of more experienced painters who've gone through all this stuff before, who've already learned from their mistakes, and they don't try this stuff too much because, you know, they've ingrained it in their minds not to try anything new because, you know, the last time they tried it, it was a disaster. And that's usually good. I'm not going to lie. That's usually very good advice. Like, hey, don't repeat the mistakes other people have made. But at the same time, never hurts to experiment a little bit. You want to make sure that if you're going to fail, fail. But you know what? It's probably a good learning experience. It's like a little kid who plays a video game all the time and always wins, and then suddenly they lose for the first time and they're just in shock. It's like, what? I wouldn't want to get in the position where I felt like, you know, someone was spoiled by winning all the time. Nothing wrong with winning. I like winning. But just saying, try new stuff. See if it works for you. If it doesn't, don't do it again. I'm talking about painting. just painting rocks. Fake rocks. This is actually made of if you were curious, this is just made of pink foam. You've probably seen it at your local hardware store. It's just pink insulation foam. I just cut a little chunk out of it and carved it into a rock. Now you tell me if that looks bad. I think it's kind of going the way I expected it to. Because you remember I had already painted this. I have a kind of a highlight on it and a wash on it already. All I'm doing is basically putting a teal wash on here. And I'm letting this get into the recesses. So let's zoom in on a couple of these little areas here. So you look at what I've done here. You see the way the teal is kind of getting into these little nooks and crannies and creating these kind of little funky, sparkly effects, right? And I'm pushing it in with my finger a bit too. And I'm giving it a little texture by just rubbing over some of the dry paint. So that additionally gives it some rockiness, right? A little bit of depth. And then let's see what we were trying to go for. Right, this is what I'm doing now. And this is what we're going for. Right? So, yeah, I think we're doing okay. What I'm going to do is start bringing out the highlights of the teal a little bit by making it a little bit lighter and lighter and lighter until we've got more of a, less of a wash and more of an actual glowy kind of effect out of it. But for now, I'm just kind of letting it go where it needs to go. And again, I'm not trying to cover up this copper either. I'm trying to blend this in with the bottom. I want to keep the bottom dark. Hey, what's up, Andy? Hey, Chimera Wargaming, what's going on, folks? How are you guys doing today? Hard to keep this thing on the camera. But, yeah, I'm doing kind of just a very weird bot technique, right? I'm good. I've got my coffee. I've eaten some, I ate a taco a little while ago, which was tasty. I'm just kind of getting into the beginning of my groove here. So I think that's pretty good. I think we can kind of, let me put some little dots in here to give it a little bit of texture. And this is just some wet bits of paint that I'm adding in here to get these little dots right there. See? Just to kind of give it a little more texture overall. You've probably seen somebody do this. Recently, I saw someone do something, a stippling effect like this for some, for a hat. It was on Twitch, actually. It was somebody that was painting a Reaper figure, and they were using a stippling effect for a completely different purpose, but a kind of a similar effect in very, very tiny and controlled manner, very tiny dots and very close together. And what they were doing actually was it was sort of eliciting a texture of velvet on a hat, like a super tiny hat. We're talking a 30 millimeter figure, 28 millimeter figure. I'm just using it to kind of give it a little more dimension, you know. I just want these big flat surfaces, you know, they're kind of, I just want to make it look a teeny bit more stony. I think we got pretty good coverage here. All right, we're going to let that dry for a little bit. Since I'm painting three things, I'm going to be alternating a little bit back and forth between them. So now we're going to move on to this guy. Like I said, not really going to do anything too crazy. For these two, what I'm probably going to do is just do a quick dry brush so we can kind of pick out a little bit of the detail, make it easier for me to see and for you to see. And then I'll just go right into putting the color down. So let me start with that. Let me just dry brush this guy. He's the bigger one. We'll just do a real simple white. Let's see if I got a good white here I can use. Citadel. Bet you didn't know I had one of those. Yeah, the paints I'm using today, let me see if this one's even good. This is probably an old one. The paints I'm using today, I've got Vallejo. I've got some golden liquid acrylics. Those are nice. I've got these really old polyester paints from 30 years ago. Those are not so nice. I've got some hobby paints, which most people would cringe at, but you know, hey, they work, they do the job. And I got these guys. Some of these are pretty old. Some of these are fairly recent. I think this one's probably going to work for what I'm going to do. I'm not doing anything fancy. We're just doing a quick dry brush. And these little cheap acrylics work great for that. So I'm not wasting the paint per se, but I'm not exactly using it for anything, some kind of spectacular effect or anything, right? For my dry brushing, let's see. What we're going to do. Let's try, I think for this big guy, this one's probably okay. Let's see how this looks. Just want to get some of the paint off of there. It's a little stiff. Okay, I think that'll probably be okay. Now, the problem with this one, I did not put a traditional primer coat on him because this is made of foam clay, which makes him kind of flexible. Cool, right? I coated him with something called Cosflex, which is a primer-like material. It's basically like a coating. It's almost like if you thought of a Mod Podge, but the Mod Podge doesn't dry hard, it dries soft. So this is almost like a very flexible kind of coating like Mod Podge, but it keeps it nice and moist. I wouldn't say moist, but flexible. The problem and the reason I do that is because this foam clay, if you leave it and you let it dry and you just put paint over it and whatnot, you can't prime it directly with spray paint. Well, you probably could, but it doesn't look great. But it needs to be sealed with something so that it maintains that flexibility and that cushioniness, if that's a word. Because what happens is it'll dry out and get really brittle, and then I'll be bending it like this one day and crack. You'll see a line all over. So I don't want that to happen. So what I've done is I've coated it with that. Unfortunately, what that does is it also fills in some of the detail, but I think there's enough here to pick out. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not going too stiff with this, but I also don't want it. There we go. Looks like there's still plenty of detail in there to pick up the paint, so I think we're okay. And I'm going across the grain rather than with it so that I can catch the hairs. If I go with the grain, I'm more likely to hit some of those recesses. I don't want to do that. So I want to try to bring the brush across the fur like this, so it's less likely to get caught in between and fill in some of the dark spots. If I can. We'll see. Looks like it's grabbing some of the texture, so that's good. Like I said, we're not doing a golden demon sword paint job here. This is going to be a pretty straightforward, like run-of-the-mill paint job that anybody can do. You know, black primer, quick texture raise with some dry brushing. So far, we're not doing anything too fancy. If you're not familiar with dry brushing, I did do it looks pretty decent. Looks like we're getting lots of the fur out. Let's see if we can get some of these little rivets in there. We'll bring out some of that metal texture that I created purely by accident. Uh-oh, keep hitting the camera. So it looks like he's coming out okay. Let's put a little bit on here. So now you can kind of make out some of the little sculpted lines I put in here and some of the fur. The other reason I'm kind of doing a quick dry brush on this guy is the fur is supposed to be red, so I'm actually going to come back over it and dry brush him with a red later. And hopefully we'll keep some of those dark recesses and it'll stand out, but that's good right there. Now, if you were sculpting and you sculpted this character and you made a bunch of mistakes that you were trying to hide with the black, well, guess what? They're going to show up when you start dry brushing it for sure. And I'm not going to paint him a silver metallic. We're going to go for kind of like a gray. I wouldn't say NMM, but like a non-metallic metallic, but just basically like your basic gray robot. Think Bender from what's the name of that? Futurama. There you go. So I'm just trying to get some of his little details out. He's chunky. He's not super detailed, but he does have some details. So, I mean, any that he has, I want to highlight, right? You know, he's got some I even put texture on the bottom. See, he's got little space boots. Bet you didn't know that. And this one actually has little feet. So we're going to paint those skin color. So he's going to have some flesh tone on him. It's just right here on the foot and maybe in the palm of his hand. And then we'll do the rest of it kind of the colors that were created. If you haven't seen my little logo, that's what this guy's based on. Think circle right there. That's it. See it? Yeah, now you recognize it. All right. I think we're almost done with dry brushing this guy. And we're going to do Kilton pretty much exactly the same way. Nothing fancy for him in terms of some special technique to get the texture out. We're just going to do him more or less the same. Let's make sure we get all the dark areas covered. Looks like I missed a few spots here. Let's get those claws. Yeah, this fur's coming out real good. You can actually see it now. Yeah, what's weird is he's got kind of a sheen. Now, the Cosflex on its own is actually transparent when it dries. So I had to add that black tint, and I didn't add a shiny black to it. I added a very matte black to it, but I guess that material is so gooey, it's got naturally some kind of tint to it, or a shine to it. We'll probably do the inside of the ear pink right there. I think we're good for this guy. Maybe a couple little spots right in here. Yeah, don't be afraid to attack it to get the stuff you want out. You can go over a couple areas twice if you need to, if you want to really highlight them. All right, so now we can kind of see where this is going, so that's good. Let's set him down. Yep, he stands on his own if you help him. Ah! Let's put him over here for now. Next to that battery. That'll help him stand up. You're next. All right. Let's see. Let's see if we can make it pick out some of the detail. He's a little easier to look at because he's got a sort of a matte finish already. And he's a lot smaller. Also, this is the other figure, since it's foam clay, had a little bit, I'm not even joking, it has a little bit of resistance because it's kind of bouncy. So when I'm putting the brush strokes down, I almost had to force them in there because it would kind of give and then flex back at me. So this is nice and solid, like pretty hard. So he should be pretty easy to get some stuff out. Now with him, I'm kind of not quite doing a zenithal, but I'm sort of emulating that by bringing the white down from the top. You'll get to see a lot more texture once this has got the white on here, I think. So make it easier to appreciate the amount of pains I went through to sculpt him. And for those curious, I am actually painting the original. This is the only one. There's no copy. I don't have a whole bunch of resin Kiltons flying around somewhere. This guy's it. Yeah, this guy was kind of a one-off. I don't know. I guess if enough people ask for it, um, I think mainly because it's legally probably not a good idea for me to make a bunch of copies of something that's not mine. This is not my intellectual property, right? This belongs to Nintendo. And I can see kind of some of his detail. His hands, his little feet. He looks like he just came out of a dust mine. But now you can kind of see his details a little bit better. All right, okay. Let's get under here a little bit. And this is also if I made mistakes with like making areas not quite as smooth as they should have been, they're going to pop out in this stage for sure. Well, it looks like I did a pretty good job, though, I gotta say. Not bad for my first really detailed sculpt in 20 years. Toot my own horn, ain't nothing wrong. Say what you want. Yeah. Trust me, I'm my own worst critic. If I thought I did a bad job, I'd be telling you for sure. But he's okay. I think he turned out pretty much the way I wanted him to. He's about the scale I wanted him to be. Let's see if we got that lined up. We'll go back to our color reference here. All right, let's see if we got them right. There you go. I don't know, maybe his head maybe less pointy, too pointy. I thought it was too pointy when I first put them together, but I think he's pretty much on the money here. So proportions are good. I think scale and other stuff is good. Pretty much. I think we nailed it. All right, cool. So this is how we're painting him. These are the colors we're going to use. We're going to do striped shorts, a little bit white line. We're going to try anyway. The gloves look like they're going to be a lot of fun. And then his coat, this little kind of cheetah colored looking thing. Weirdly teal safety pin and skull. And then we'll paint those little teeth on there. And if you look real close, one of them's kind of gold and one of them's white. But everything else, I think, I don't know what color. His earrings kind of look like they're copper almost. We'll figure that one out. All right. So that's two dry brush. Now we're going to take that dry brush we used. And we are going to... Hey, what's up, Esrom? So what we're going to do now is go back to this guy. So this is dried a little bit. We're going to take some of that highlight from the white and we're going to mix it a little bit with that teal. That looks good. All right, so basically just kind of do the same thing. We're dry brushing over this, but with a lighter teal color. Maybe a little bit lighter. Still not quite white, but really, really close. All right, I'm going to do some white on there, almost completely white. And we're going to bring that out to here, just on the edges. All right, I think that's pretty good. Doesn't need to be like perfect for what I'm using it for, but I think we got where we needed out of it. I just needed it to go from a very bright color. Let me see if I can go a little bit lighter, just at the top. Now, let me try something here. I'm going to rub off a little bit of it, just a hair of that black in some spaces. And I'm kind of just taking it off in some areas where I know there's some copper. want some of that copper shine to come through. And I'm just going to give it kind of a weird make it look a little glassy almost, right? Yeah, I think that works. All right. Pretty straightforward. Let's put that aside. So we're done with this thing. I think that's the kind of look I was going for. I'm pretty satisfied with that. We'll stick with that. And again, this one's magnetized, so it's always fun when it's got a magnet inside. All right. I'm kind of saving him for last because I know he's going to be the most complicated, but we'll go back and forth and put some solid colors on him. Actually, the teal we're working on is really close in color, I think, to the one that's on his gloves, so we might go ahead and put that down. I might darken it up a little bit. I've got another one that's pretty close. This turquoise. Let me see what that looks like. Yeah, you know what? The turquoise might actually be a better fit. I know you can't see it on camera very well, but it's actually pretty close. Let me see here. To this dark color here. So all I'm going for is this color right here, and I think this is actually pretty close. I can always shade it a little bit if I need to, but let's go ahead and do that since we've got them here. Let's bring this down here so you can see what I'm doing. So this is just the base coat. Even this out just a little bit. And I want to apologize to all my YouTube followers because I've been kind of doing the majority of the sculpting for this guy on Twitch. And my intention was originally, and still is, to get all of those hours of live streaming when I was sculpting this dude and edit them, put them together in a nice little video that just kind of highlights the most important parts anyway. So you don't have to watch 20 hours of sculpting. So I'll be posting that as soon as I get an opportunity to edit it. And then you can get an idea of what went into making this little guy, what I used, what problems I ran into, how I fixed those problems. But I kind of wanted to do the paint video after and do that first. But, you know, once I get this thing done, I just want to get it done. I don't want to spend hours and hours contemplating if I want to get it done. You know what I mean? If I put it off now, I'll put it off till the last minute. And this is actually a present for somebody. So I want to make sure they get this in a timely manner. Okay, there's his gloves. We'll put those aside for now. We'll let that dry. We can get to the fun one. Let's see. What do we need to do with this fellow? I think we could probably put down some gray. That's probably an easy way to go. Do you want to mix up a gray? Do you want to go with a straight gray? Let's see here. What color is this? Field blue. It's kind of grayish. I think I've used that before. It says field blue, but it's kind of a dark gray, honestly. I like recycling all these little coffee top things for pallets. I don't like just tossing plastic in the trash, but it goes into a recycling bin eventually. Let's try this color out. That's a good color. I like that. Good color gray. We can mix that up with some white later. Okay. Let's use this brush because he's a big fella. And what I'm going to do is just kind of lightly put some of this gray on here. Just in a few spots. We're just going to stay away from the edges. I like those little highlighted edges, and this will probably just cover them up. I guess I could always just go back and highlight them again, but oh, looks like I missed a couple of nuts back here. I'll get those later. Need a little bit more room to work here. Let me pull this guy down. Hey, Matt Yee, Mr. Yee himself. Hey, what's up, Esron? Who else is in here? I don't know if Andy's still here. Chimera, Coolio. What's up, sir? Yeah, I'm just doing some simple paint jobs on some simple sculpts. I don't know if you caught this little guy earlier. I started putting together his business. You can see his detail a little bit better now. Nice little terrain sculpt on there. This guy actually weighs more than him, if you can believe that. This weighs probably twice as much as this figure does, as you can tell when I put it down. Other thing I painted was this little glowy rock, which is magnetized glowy rock. Right now, I'm just kind of putting a base coat down for this mascot I made for myself. We'll go back over him and add some fun highlights and stuff later. I'm just trying not to get through all the black so I can have something that's got a little bit of shadow on it. And like I said at the beginning of this stream, I am not going for a Golden Demon level paint job here. We're going for super basic, simple on this guy. And the Kilton figure, we're just going for that. This is as good as we want to get it. It doesn't have to be, I'm not going through a bunch of oils and washes and highlights and transparent, just a straight paint job that makes him look exactly like he's supposed to look. I'll have another reference up in a second. You can see what he looks like in the video game, and then we can go back and compare. But in the meantime, we're just going to paint this happy fella. I'm going to assume he's happy. Who wouldn't be happy being a robot attached to a monster? Or vice versa. Right? Am I right? It's funny, there's a little hair stuck in here, I think. And it makes it look like he's got a seam. I don't know if you can see that. There's like a line right here. like a mold line. I'm like, this isn't even a mold. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it in there because why not? Who's gonna know? Yeah, these were totally hand sculpted for sure. I know, I was there. I used my hands. He's got some moon boots. So I don't know what that's about. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, he's looking more of a solid color now. That's good. Non-stop excitement here, folks. Non-stop. If you came looking for explosions and time travel, well, I don't really have any. Sorry. No explosions. No explosiones. That's fake Italian for no explosions. All right. I guess if there's any foreign language speakers out there or people from other countries, I can say welcome, willkommen, bienvenuto, hola. Hey, look at this. Look at this. It's turning into something right before our eyes. Who knew? Uh-oh. All right. We are getting somewhere. Look at that. Uh-oh. Did I just spill the paint? No. Oh, no, it's not. Thought I might have spilled the paint. Fortunately, I did not. All right. I guess we could fill in some little spots here. Oh, yeah, before I forget, today's also special because the YouTube channel hit over 200 people. So we hit 200, I think it was, I don't know when exactly, Saturday possibly, Tuesday, I'm not real sure. So I'm going to have to do a giveaway. So some lucky person out there, if you're watching, if you were number 200, hey, email me. I want to say it was a particular individual. Let me see if I can find his name. And if he happens to be watching, email me and send me your address and I will send you something. Last time it was a sticker. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. I might have a couple more stickers around here. We'll have to come up with an idea for number 200. We'll have to come up with an idea. What will they get? What will they get? You get a Kilton. Just kidding. No, that one's spoken for. Let's see. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I'm pretty sure I got some decals. I mean, I could send you this original sketch of the robot. I don't know that anyone would want that, so we'll come up with something before the time is up. But let's see if I can figure out who it was. It looks like it was someone named Landon Halbfass. If your name is Landon Halbfass, that's LandinHalBFASS, you were number 200. I think, I'm not sure, but I'm about 89% accurate most of the time. So if you're watching, email me. My email's in my about section. I'm pretty sure. And let me know if you want a sticker, and I will mail it out to you. Number 200. Oh, yeah. special. You're special. All right, so we got some paint down on him. We got some paint down on him. We're done with this little thing. So let's put this little thing aside. And let's get back to Kilton. What's next? How about that purpley shirt he's got? I don't know. It's sort of a bluish purple color kind of ish thing. I don't know if I've got a color that really exactly matches that, but I think I've got one that's pretty close. We might have to mix for that one. Let me see what color this is. This is possibly a good one to start with. Let's see. Ooh, you know what? That might be the color. Let's spread that out. Let's see what it looks like. It's sort of more purpley, I think, on the picture, but it's not bad. Maybe if we added a little blue to it. There's some phthalo blue. That might be a little too blue. Do I have a purple? Like a straight up purple? Oh, I do have a purple. But this purple I'm going to use for the hood. I think, maybe just a drop. Let's try just a drop of that. See where that goes. Boom. There's no turning back now. It's got purple in it. All right, so I think if we put that, we mix a little bit of this. So now we got purple and that color. Let's see what it does. That's pretty close. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, it's still more purpley on the screen, I think, right? Like a dark purple. Let's give him a little bit more purple. Yeah. Come on, purple. Get on there. Go home. All right. There we go. Oh, yeah. I think that's it. That's as dark a purple as I can get without making it full on. I think that's probably pretty good. All right, let's see if we can do it with a smaller brush though, because that's a little bit too much. And I can always go back in and kind of fix the color a little bit. So let's see what we got. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. So it looks like some of the draw brushing is providing a very nice little contrast paint kind of highlight, which I'm fairly satisfied with. I'm going to probably leave it that way. We'll see. I might go over it with a little bit more purple later, but I think in general it looks all right. All right, the hood is also that color. Probably the hardest part of this figure is going to be his shorts, because they're so bright and they've got the multiple stripes. See what I'm talking about? Yeah, fun. Those should be an interesting challenge. I don't think it's going to be that hard, but I would say if I had to pick something out of this figure that was mildly difficult, that would probably be it. Those of you who have trouble freehanding stuff will probably agree, because that's going to be some freehanding there. You know, you can mask things like that. I'm usually pretty impatient. I don't have time to be masking stuff, so I just generally am okay at freehanding most of the time. But yeah, I mean, there are like different ways you can do that. If you wanted to mask it, you could use something like a watercolor masking agent called Liquid. Was it Liquid? I think it was Liquid. But I don't know. I'm thinking Liquid is not a masking agent, is it? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. But yeah, I think Winsor & Newton makes a nice masking agent that's kind of, you paint it on. There's a couple of companies that make them, but Winsor & Newton is the one I remember. You paint it on. It's kind of rubbery, and you do your painting, and then when you're ready to remove it, you just peel it off like a little rubbery booger. And once that's done, you've got whatever paint color you had underneath showing through, which is pretty nice. I like it for things, you know, if you have something that's really curvy and complex. I mean, that could come in really handy. All right, let's see. I think he's pretty good. I kind of feel like it should be a little bluer. So I'm going to go over it with like just a hint of that other blue coat on here. Yeah. Maybe just in some recesses in some other areas. All right, let's go for his flesh tone next. But before we do that, let's let that layer dry. Let me give my TV a rest so I don't burn in that stuff. And let's, yeah, say the gray's pretty dry on here by now. Let's give him a little layer of red fur. We'll see how this turns out. This could be a disaster. You could be witnessing an absolute disaster. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. It does happen from time to time. All right. Red. It's important to have your tonal voice for each color. For red, it's red. For purple, it's purple, purple. White, white. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just messing with you, man. So I'm a little cuckoo today. Most days. Let's be honest. Looking for something I can dry brush with that doesn't hold a ton of paint, but does hold a ton of paint. This is kind of usually my go-to. I don't like to do the puffy frou-frou brushes. I've never been a big fan of that. Hey, what's up, sir? Going to take a few coats over that dark color? Nah, it'll be fine. I'm not sure which dark color you mean. This one here? Nah. This is some heavy duty red stuff. I kind of dry brushed it earlier, so I don't want to wet it with too much red. Let me see if I can lighten it up. Let's see here. We'll do the back of his leg first. Yeah, it seems to be doing all right. Uh-oh. There we go. I got some on the gray. Yeah, I think the trick here is I don't want to cover up the dark area too much. I'm going to try to just keep that red over the raised areas. Let's see if we can get a little bit more paint on this one now. Get a little bit more confident with it. I'm just going to hit it with a light touch. Stay across the grain and not with it, and I think we'll be okay. The thing I don't want is for him to look pink, so I might have to go over some of the areas that look a little pink. Yeah, I know it's supposed to be red fur, but you can't help but get a little bit of that flayed man feel. You know what I mean? You guys know what I'm talking about. You Game of Thrones fans out there, you know what I mean. Or maybe you're more of an Attack on Titan person. I don't know. But it's fur. It's not muscle tissue. It's just red fur. He's like a Muppet. He's a happy, angry Muppet. I've been fused to a robot. Yeah, something like that. It's very red. Uh-oh, I put too much red in there. I might have to go back over this guy with a wash after all. I don't know. We'll see how well this red goes on. Okay. My sinuses are acting up. Uh-oh. Looks like we're almost good to go, I think, with the red here. Seems to be on there pretty good. What do you think? Yeah, looks furry. Looks like a furry fella. Looks like we've got most of his areas covered. Kind of coming to life. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think so. All right. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do his teeth and so maybe some of that flesh tone. I think the flesh tone would be fun. You know, for you 40K guys, you can just say it's some sort of demon spawn, half beast, half machine. Come from the warp gate, the eye of the warp, to destroy you and take your soul. Or not. Let's just do this. All right. Let's put a little pink on him. You know, pink is fun. Pink is a fun color. I like the pink. The pink is good. You know, it's you know, part of life. Part of life. I'm just gonna put a little bit of pink up in here. Some happy little pink. Maybe not so much right there though. And then we'll get that little bit of pink, a little bit of a highlight, and gradiate it down. A little happy wet blending, yeah. Or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. Just something like that. Who knows? Who knows these things? I mean, really, I don't know. Maybe get rid of that. Oh, all right, good enough. I think what we're going to do is put some flesh tone on this guy. I think I've got something that's decent as a flesh tone, but let me see what I can find. I might just have to make one. Let's see, Vallejo's usually got one. Brown, gold, mustard, no, I guess I don't have one. So, what color is this? We can mix this one. This is a sandstone. Mix a little bit of that. With some, let's give it a little bit of red. No, actually brown would be better for this one. A little bit of brown would be better for this one. Let's see. Just some cheapy brown. Cheapy brown paint. What's this? Matte brown. Nutmeg. Yep. I was going to use some of their cheap paint real quick. Sacrilege, I know. It's a little red. Just a hint. There we go. Put a little red in there. Let's see if this comes out with a little too red. That's what I was afraid of. But no. Oh, getting there, getting there. I kind of like that color better for this. A little bit of brown, a little more beige. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. I like where that is. Let's use that. So I'm going to put a little bit of flesh in here. Oh, I bet you didn't know I knew how to mix paints into other colors. Oh my gosh. Bit of a lost art, really. Okay, I think we're right at the edge of where we want to be with the flesh tone. Let's get his feet. No, can't forget his feet. No one's going to see it, but I'll know it's there. Well, technically, you guys would know it's there because I told you earlier. So, you know, there's that. And I'm going to go ahead and do his lid the same color. I mean, eyelid, not his whole head, but, you know. All right, we got that done. One more thing done. Make that a little more wet. All right, let's put him aside. Back to Kilton. So we're going to do Kilton's skin color now. Kilton's got an interesting skin color. He's a bit of a dark gray. Very dark gray. Well, not very dark. Pretty dark though. He's pretty weird. So back to the TV. Let's examine this guy's skin color. I think what I'll show you is what he looks like in game. Let's turn this on. Where is he? There he is. Okay, so this is what Kilton looks like in the game. He's very gray. Very, very gray. So this is where we're at right now. Let's get some light on this guy. So I think we're okay on the coat and the gloves, but that gray, that's a really interesting gray. In the art book, he's a little different. I mean, no, he's pretty dead on, actually, I gotta say. I think in the game he's just a little bit, you know, more gamey looking, but there he is. So, yeah, I think as long as we stay within that gray range, I'd almost say it's the same color as the robot, but there seems to be a little bit more blue in his gray. So we could probably start with the same field blue or field gray that I started with on the Bot Beast and Maybe put a little blue in there too. Just a hint. Like just a teeny tiny little hint of blue. And I think that'd probably be good. Let's mix that up and we'll get I think a decent shade out of it. Maybe not that much blue. All right, let's get back to business. Light. Yeah, you like that noise? Kind of creepy and weird. All right, let's see. All right, I think that's a good blue gray. Not too far off from what's on his skin right now, anyway. But I'll go back in and add some little details later. Like he's got kind of a shadow over his eyes. We'll mess with that. He's got bright red lips, so we don't want to color his lips in. Although the top of his lip, we can kind of put a little bit on there. If I can zoom in just a little bit for you guys. There we go. Maybe I'm zoomed in a little bit too much. Oh. I left a teal out. What are you talking about? We're going to go back to the teal. We're not done yet with his gloves. We're just putting down some base coats to build up on. I'll tell you what the most interesting part of this, and what I haven't decided yet. Well, I wouldn't say the most interesting, but the most difficult decision for me that's been so far is what color am I going to paint the ground? I mean, I know it sounds silly, but that makes a big difference. At least to me, anyway. I haven't decided. All right. All right, next, let's find the base color for his little handkerchief thing. That one looks pretty straightforward, but let me see if I can find one. I think Golden's got a real nice yellow ochre that'll fit that bill. Let's take a look at it. If not, we can try a little too yellow. Medium flesh tone. That's a little too yellow also. It's a little yellow. A little bit too yellow. There is a cork brown. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, he's somewhere between with those two. Oh. It's funny. The flesh tone looks yellow, but the cork brown looks fleshy. What's this one? So I'm not really thrilled with the color choices here. Needs a little brown. Golden let me down flat, or at least with the basic set. But this one's, the Vallejo flesh tone, oddly, is a pretty good color right now for that. So let's stick with that one. Probably have to go back in and touch it up, but put a little bit of a wash on. I said I wasn't gonna do any washes, but the more I look at this, the more I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna need to do some. If I'm gonna get some of the layering of these little textures and stuff. Not too wet there. Maybe a little bit wetter. Laying down too dry. I kind of went over in a couple spots. That's okay. Not going to hurt it. I could always come back and fix it later. So I'll make sure I get enough color to separate it, pick out some of the details I want to pick out, and I can go back over it. I think that's good for now. Oh, his shorts has kind of a similar color. Well, you know what? Let's start laying down some of those stripes then. That's going to be tricky. So 1, 2, 3, we'll start down the middle. We're going to go from this side to this side. And don't forget there's white in here too, so that's going to be fun. All right, let's see. Stripe this way. And then we're going to leave that blank. We're going to put another stripe over here. That's a good start. He's got a few more over this way, so let's carry that over. So we got a stripe there. And then probably one around here. And right around there. Right here. And then we're going to carry over a stripe over here. Right there. Right about here. One there. And let's see, right about here. And right about there. And we'll say here too. All right, that's looking pretty good in terms of where the stripe placement is, I think. Yeah, all right. Maybe we should use some of that teal. No, we're gonna do purple first. Oh, what noise does teal make? Well, we said purple was purple. And then what did we say white was? We said white was white, white, red. So what's teal? Teal would be teal. Teal. No? Is that not right? That sounds, this is blue-green, but close enough. Because you can't just say blue-green. I mean, come on, that's, who wants to hear that? But teal. I think that's a good one. Yeah. Yeah. Turquoise. I like turquoise. Turquoise are good. Turquoise. 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 Or turquoise. All right, enough of that. Enough of that nonsense. We'll not have that. We'll not have that nonsense here. You're driving me crazy, let me tell you. Making me make all kinds of nonsensical noises just for your entertainment. I'm not here for that. I'll not be your puppet. All right, let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Please, no swearing. Who swore? I hope there's no swearing. I will give you a single warning not to swear. That was it. Thank you so much for abiding by the rules. Abiding by the rules. We shall abide. I had this kind of funny idea for today's stream. I was going to do a tool review at the beginning and really confuse the heck out of people, but I thought, no, someone who's new, who's looking for a painting video might get really irritated or confused if I do that. They don't know that I'm crazy yet. I gotta ease them into it. Yeah, I'm gonna ease them into the craziness. I think so far we're kind of on target. I think we're okay. Let's get some teal in there. Or I meant teal. Just for you, S-Rom. Just for you. Because you're special. S-Rom needs special color noises. I will admit, I am the one that came up with the color noises. But I believe it really hit S-Rom home in some special place. So we're just going to keep doing it for him. Teal! Hey, it is pretty cool to clean your room without being asked. I think if there's anybody out there that's debating that, let me tell you right now, it's not cool not to. Therefore, by process of elimination and default, it must be cool to do it. Just saying. Just saying. I have fallen into the trap of not cleaning my room. I will admit, it has brought great shame upon me, and shame upon my clan, shame upon my family. But, I clean my room. Yeah, I like to clean my room. I like to be in a nice, tidy room. You might have noticed I sort of tidied up this area. Yeah, remember that tornado of disaster that it was before? I mean, it's a little disastery now because I'm painting, but it was even more disastrous. If you can believe that. There was a sort of a heightened element of disaster to it. I think if you saw it before and you see it now, you will agree. I think we can all agree my room was considerably worse before. Yeah, these stripes are for US, Rom, because I know how much you appreciate freehanding of decorative elements. The trick with this is I'm doing this at kind of a funny angle because I want to make sure I get it on camera. It's making it a lot more difficult than it usually is. This thing's like a foot away from my face, and I'm just really hunched over trying to get in there. Plus, it's like really in there, isn't it? Uh-oh. Hmm. Weird. Did my internet just freak out and like kick a bunch of people off? Uh-oh. Looks like I took some paint off. I'll have to be careful of that. I'll come back and fix it. I have a feeling that primer didn't stay on too well. Okay, so there's a little bit of this teal. See, now I have to do it. I just have to. There's a little bit on the inside of his gloves and the palms of his hands, so we're gonna kind of do a little bit of that here. All right, and then there's like darker spots on the top of these, so make sure I got enough teal in here. Created a monster restaurant, a monster of your own devices that you can no longer control. The color monster. Well, so far so good. All right. Uh-oh. You know, there's some patchy little bits of a dark color in here too. That's cool, guys. If you need to do what you got to do, you can do what you got to do. Let's put some color on that little funky thing. I'm just going to mix a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I think we got the color we want right here. Right there. All right, where are we at? I think we're doing pretty good. What do you think? Yeah. I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there. Slowly but surely. Well, if you like teal and red and white, then you might also like where I'm going with the next one. Green. There's going to be a green in here. Green, 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 green. I know. It sounds a little bit like purple, but it's not. It's green. Let's get some green on there. Mr. Green Jeans. Oh, that's real green. That's really bright. That's a little bit too green for me. Yeah, that's we don't need one quite that bright. Although, you know, the button's pretty close to that. Let's do the button with that one. Pretty close to the button. And I know the button doesn't have a thread on it, but that's okay. I don't think anybody's even going to notice it. It looks more buttony without the thread, to be honest. You got to be honest here. Yeah. And everybody knows that buttony is a word. Buttony, what does it mean? It's a gluttony for buttons, obviously. If you collect buttons and you don't want to stop, you have buttony. I won't go into what other words people have probably transformed that into, but that's okay. There we go. Button. Button. We put the button on the button. Let's give this little guy some eyes. He needs some eyes. Fortunately, his eyes are fairly simple. They're just little dots. Not much to them. Let's get his little. So, didn't like that green. It was way too green. Way too green. Here's a phthalo green, which I have a feeling we're probably going to end up mixing quite a bit. Or I should say phthalo green. Oh yeah, phthalo. Oh, phthalo. Phthalo. It's a little bit too phthalo-y. We might have to mix it with the other green to get a more color accurate green that we want. Mixing some of that one too, why not? That's a little bit better. It's still a little teal. I need some yellow. I need a little bit of yellow in there. Vallejo's got a good yellow, so that's good. Yeah, I think that'll work. Oh yeah. I think that's more of the green we're going for right there. Let's do that. So that's going to be all the stitches here. Not these, those are going to be red, according to the drawings and the figures in the game. But these are all green. Greeny, green, green. Now, I realize that the stitches on this are not exactly as the stitches that are on the drawing or the figure. I mean, the character on the game. They're much, much tinier. But since I was the one sculpting it, I didn't want to make more work for myself. So I was like, well, as long as I've got them on there and they're haphazard like they're supposed to be, I don't think anybody's going to really say anything. Remember, children, if you're in control, don't make more work for yourself if you're the one in charge. That's just silly. Looks like I just messed up that. Okay, let me see. Look, kids. That's painted okay, but that's sloppy pants. We don't want any sloppy pants here. We use belts. Oh man, this brush is irritating me. Of course, it's not my ineptness and inability to draw or paint in straight lines. It's obviously the brush. That's okay. I can fix that. I can fix it. It's fixable. Where else is there green? Is that the only green? I think we're good on green, folks. I think we're good on green. Anybody getting a Joker vibe off of this dude? Just a little bit. Is Kilton secretly DC's Joker hidden in Zelda? Inquiring minds want to know. I don't think that's the case, but it is a little bit peculiar. He's just one of those odd fellas, I guess. Let's put some red on those X's. All my exes live in Texas. Fun fact, that's actually true. But shh, don't tell anybody. All right. Okay. Let's get some red. When you're not sure what to do, put red on it. See if I can carefully fill these out without messing them up. All right. I think that worked out okay. Yeah. All right. I think we're good to go there. All right. He needs some gray on his belly. I didn't even realize. I've neglected his belly. He's got some serious belly neglect. Okay. Uh-oh. That could have been a disaster. All right, he's looking okay so far. I think we need to do his lips though. Let's go ahead and knock those out. Mm. Where is that teeny tiny brush I was using? This one? Is that kind of... Uh-oh. That's not good. Looks like some of the gray's rubbing off. That's not good. Doesn't have good adhesion. I don't like that. No siree. I'll have to let that dry up. All right, he's got some lips that go all the way out to the little curled edges. So let me see if I can get that close enough. It's gonna be kind of tricky. That's pretty good. All right. Okay. Let's see if we can get some of this darker stuff in here. Here's that other, there it is, turquoise. Using way too much paint. This stuff goes a long way. I'd really rather not waste it, but you know, what are you gonna do? Sometimes you just do. But what I want to do is put these spots on his gloves. This be kind of tricky because, well, let's see, they're kind of like stripes almost. Let's see. Ah, dropped him. All right, I think that's cool. That works. I give him his sort of stripy, tigery gloves. Fair enough. Let's put some shiny white claws on the tips of his fingers. You want to do his toenails too. I mean, I went through the trouble of sculpting them. I may as well paint them. And to get his sharp little claw nails here. He's got some little nails I put on there too. All right, and on his other finger. Oops, too much. All right. This might be a good opportunity to put some of that gray around his eyes, which is kind of a, I don't know if I can get it right, but I'll try. So he's got kind of a hint of a shadow around his eyes. I want to try to get that in there a little bit. And maybe some around here. You know, just a little bit. All right. Let's try to get a couple of black dots in there without completely messing it up. And let's put a dot right about there. Not too bad. All right. I can live with that. Okay. Some more weird colors. Let's get some brown in some of these little funky patches here. All right. A few dots on the back. Oh, don't know who's on. I guess it's S-Ron. Oh, thanks. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say fast. It's been about 2.5 hours. Although he isn't the only one I worked on, you might recall. I worked on 3 things. But he's definitely the most complicated. Just lots of little features, you know what I mean? Let's take care of some of that white striping. I think for that I'm going to use the golden liquids because I like those a lot. All right, we're going to try to put some white stripes in between these lines here because that's what's in the figure. So very, very carefully. Let's see what we can do. Just have to be very, very careful and gentle with your lines. Oh, a little thick on that one. You keep that thickness down by not putting pressure on the brush. When you put pressure on your brush, imagine my fingers are hairs, and you're putting pressure on the brush, it's opening the brush more and releasing more paint. So you're creating a bigger footprint, and you're also you're forcing that taper open. So you don't want to do that. You want to just try to very gently press only enough to get as much paint as you want to get out, and not put too much stress on that point if you want to keep those lines the same. Which, trust me, I know it's hard. It's tricky. It just takes practice. I mess up too sometimes. I've probably messed up about 1,000,000 times since I started the stream. But yeah, key to everything is practice. Looks good so far. Not too bad. Not the best. Could be worse. Uh-oh. Made a little mistake right there. Where's my little mistake remover brush I was using? There we go. That's good enough. Looks like this brush got opened up a little bit too much, so I gotta be careful. The point on it's a little wonky. There we go. Also good not to put too much paint on your brush too, that can affect it. There's some little areas where there's some black showing through. I'm just leaving that in there because it actually helps with the contrast. So we're good to go there, I think. We'll put a little bit of white right there. That came up pretty good. Can't really complain. Let's take another look at them. Let's get some light over here. Yeah, I think we're doing okay. He's just about done, actually. I'm going to probably put a little highlight on it somewhere here and there. Oh, his teeth, his little funky teeth on his lips. We got to do those. I'm talking about those right there. Yeah, one yellow, one white. So let's do the white one since we got the white out. Let's get that on camera. Some light on here. I'm gonna be real careful with this one. This is kind of tricky. Right in the middle. That's one. And I think the yellow is pretty opaque. I don't know how opaque it is. Let's see. I don't know. You know what? Let's do the other one in white anyway, just to have something to lay down on. We'll just have to be real careful with it. All right. Maybe just a little bit more at the top of this one. Uh-oh. Yeah, it looks pretty good. All right. We'll just put a little bit of yellow on it, and I think we're good. Oh, I'm seeing some other things I need to fix. Okay, hold on. I just noticed a couple things. Let's be real careful with this one. All right, I think we're good there. There was something else that is going to be real tricky. So on his, he's got this, his shorts, right? But on the back of his thing here, this little thing right here, he's got this patch that's the same shade as his shorts. And that looks really complicated. I don't know if I really want to go into that much detail. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm really pushing our luck, I think, and how much detail you want to put on this. I think he's good the way he is, honestly. I think for Amiibo style paints, he's probably pretty good. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like I want to not push my luck a whole lot. He's looking like he's supposed to pretty well. But there are some touch-ups in some areas I need to fix, so let's do that. And then what I'll do is we'll put a kind of an interesting color for the shading on that earth palette on his base, and we'll figure something out for that because I haven't quite figured out what color I want to do that yet. All I'm doing here is I'm just highlighting a little bit. I'm just touching up some areas around here. Okay, where are we at? Oh, I need some little sort of patches on here, don't I? Oh, this color, I think. A little bit of that color. And a little bit more white. I think we got it. So, looks like we got some little spots of color in some areas. Let's fix that a little bit. So we're just kind of putting some little random bits of color here and there. Well, I added a few more spots than he's actually got on his picture because I kind of like more spots. So that was my prerogative to do so. So there's that. I just like the little checkered spot things. They kind of make it more interesting. And let's fix this purple. And I think we can call this one done except for the ground, which... How are we gonna do that? Let's do the ground with some brown. I'm gonna do kind of a sandy color, I think. And then we gotta finish our my mascot, man. He's been just kind of sitting there waiting for his turn, and this guy's been getting all the love. And that's no fair. That is no fair. I'm not really crazy about that brown. So, I know I said I wasn't going to do any washes, but I do have this Vallejo wash that's pretty fun to use. Just has this real nice way of toning stuff down that I don't like that's too, well, bright. Make this thing a little muddy. There we go. Just mud that up. I like that better. All right, let's put him aside for a little bit, and let's get back to playing with our other guy. Because I think he needs some love too. So first things first. If you've seen my logo, it looks a little something like this. Let's see here. All right. What do I get here? Let me find something. All right, I am looking for a picture of my logo that's unobstructed. Let's see. Where can I find it? No, 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 no. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. This was pretty close. Can I make this bigger? No. No, that's not gonna work. How about this one? No. This one? No. This one? Nope. Holy moly, I can't find any. How about where? Maybe an older one? Ah, here's a good one. Oh, that's loud. All right. Let's do that one. Is that connecting? Whoa. I can't just like pause where I want it to pause. That's all right. So this is what we're painting. This is what we're doing right here. Let's see if we can see his face. Really? That's annoying. Come on. Why does it have to be so difficult? Okay, well you get the idea. It's gonna be my guy, so for whatever reason, it's just impossible to get it on the screen right now. Ah, there's one. Let's see here. Maybe that'll work. Nope. Nope, forget it. That's all right. No, thank you. Okay. Suffice it to say that we're just going to paint him with some business and, do some things. So he's got a white iris and a green eyeball. And the robot does not. The robot's got a red eyeball. So let's try what we can with that. And it looks like kind of a greenish. I think this would be a really good green for that, actually. Let me see. Oh, yeah. All right, so this is going to be a good green for this, I think. Still awfully weird green, but that's all right. I think we're going to do... Let's do this green here. Oh, this is the worst brush possible. No, 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 no. That won't do it all. There we go. There's like no paint coming off of it. All right. Not the best, but I think it's doable. And we got like a little screen going on over here. Yeah, this paint isn't terribly opaque. It's very transparent. But like I said, a couple of coats, it'll be fine. Did I say that? I don't know. Well, I just said it right now, so there you go. Yeah, that's a good start. We need some white. Let's get some white up on in there. And that's why I like this white. I've heard that the Pro acrylic paints, especially their white, is very, very opaque. I'm really anxious to get a set of those, so I think I'm going to try those. I only found out about them recently. I'd heard some things from different people, watched different streams, but it was when I actually saw the manufacturer on Twitch talking about them that I was like, huh, maybe I'll give those a shot. So, I don't know. They're a little expensive. I mean, they're not that expensive per bottle, but if you're going to get a set, I mean, it's the same as anybody else. You're going to spend some money. I didn't spend a ton of money on my Vallejos or my Goldens, surprisingly, but they were a lot less than what they're selling the set of an equivalent size for Pro Quill, which kind of surprised me because I've heard they're not as expensive. Maybe not as expensive as Games Workshop stuff, but that's not really saying much. Pretty much everything they make is kind of overpriced, I think, but well, overpriced, maybe not. Expensive, yes. I can't attest to the quality of what you're getting. Games Workshop usually makes pretty good stuff. Their models are nice. The materials they use for the models are usually nice. I'm not going to mention any past mistakes they've made. None of my business. But, nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm just saying they made a couple of mistakes with some things, but that's, whatever. Water under the bridge. have to paint this white over a little bit. I really don't like it when it goes down so chalky. It really bugs me. It just happens sometimes, you know. I'd like it to go down smooth, but when it's smooth, it's not terribly opaque. You just, you know, you got to put several layers down sometimes for certain things. All right. Progress. Let's get his nails. I know, boring to make the claws white, I mean, but I'll probably come back and put a little dark wash on them and make them look a little more bony. For now, we're just putting some white on them. If you were just tuning in or you missed earlier, we were painting Kilton. Don't worry, we'll get back to him. He just needed a break to dry off so we could work on this little guy. We're painting his nails. Uh-oh. No, what have I done? All right, well, it's all right. That's fixable, sort of. It's going to take a little bit doing, but it's fixable. It's fixable. I kind of got some white, and then instead of being smart, just carefully, gently wiping it off with a little Q-tip or something, I smeared it in with my big, meaty hands. Because I do that sometimes. I make mistakes. That's the mistake song. Not really a song, just being a little bit lyrical with my wording. All right. He's got some tainted silky cream. He's got little sharp claws now. There you go. Sharpie sharps. A bit more menacing, right? Just a hair. Just a hair more menacing. All right. You know, let's go over him with a little bit of a little highlighting with some of that gray. I just feel like, I don't know, he needs a little something. Maybe just a little bit light gray on there to kind of give him some depth on the robot side. Just a hair, just a hair. Just a little bit. A little bitty bit. Gotta keep those brushes clean, folks. Clean brush could save your life someday. Not really, but, you know, sounds fun. Let's, where's the gray? Need a little bit more gray in there. It's a little bit light. A little too white. Oh yeah, that's way too light. That might be good. Yeah, I think that's good. I'm just gonna just want to go over some little areas with some more light gray. Kind of brighten him up a little bit. Ah. All right, I just dropped a bottle of paint. I need to start being careful because I got a few open ones here. That could spell catastrophe. So one thing I don't want is catastrophe. Catastrophe is bad. Never let it be said a catastrophe was good, because they called it that for a reason. Get off of my antenna. All right. We need a little bit more gray on this. Yeah, I have this weird habit of putting way more paint on my palette than I need of a color. And then when I get to the color I actually do need a lot of, I always put too little. And I don't know why that is. That's a little too bright. That's a little better. Oh, it's still too bright. Come on now. Better. Okay, let's run with this one. This is a good one. Do. All the leaves are brown, and this guy is gray. I know that was dumb, but I just felt like saying it. It's a little too shiny. Oops. Remember, children, it's okay to make mistakes. Zoom out a little bit. Ta-da. Does it look brown? Which looks brown? This right here? It is kind of getting a little bit weirdly brown, right? But it's red. Let's rinse this off. He needs a little bit more red anyway. So let's go back over him with some more red. I think Silver called it. He's like, it's going to need a few passes for that to look red. And I was like, yeah, sure. It just needs this. He was right. Sometimes when you're right, you're right. You know what I'm saying? And when you're wrong, you're dead wrong. Let's use this red. I think I used what red did I use? This was an old blood red from Games Workshop. I'm going to use this golden red. That's a little newer, and we'll see how that turns out. That should brighten him up considerably. Hopefully not so much that it's like gaudy, but I got to be careful with this. I don't want to... Oh yeah. We're just going to lightly go back over him with some of this, and that should get our red on. Looks like there's some areas I kind of missed before too. He might be on Andy's stream. I know some of the folks, Andy was setting up for a stream earlier. At least that's what I heard, which I'm pretty sure he was. I usually don't take this long, but I got a lot more stuff to paint, so yeah. But I'm almost done. So you can enjoy the fruits of my labor if you stuck around. The fruits of my labor, but your patience. Yeah, it's a very bright red. That's funny. Yeah, I had a friend of mine do some music. You've probably heard me use it to death, actually. I've been thinking about trying to come up with something new, but I just haven't had time, and I know he's pretty busy, so I haven't really bugged him about it either. He just kind of was like, here, I got this track you can use. I'm like, all right. So, I know everybody uses the same white bat audio tracks. So I'm trying to get away from it, but, you kind of just do what you can do. Yeah, I'll have to come up with a new audio track for this channel at some point. I think audio is important, every bit as important as lighting, everything else, and everything that sets the mood. Sound certainly does that. Oh man, I'm putting some red on this gray area. I'll have to fix that. You expected me to make this one a little bit slapdashy because that's just kind of my thing sometimes. But I did make a few mistakes, and it looks like I got some red up in there. So we'll have to fix that. But I'm getting just so happy with this red. It's just so red. You know what I mean? Look at that. Much better. Much more red. Should I make his eyelid red? I should just make, you know what? I think I'm just going to make his eyelid flat out just red instead of fleshy tone. It just seems like it'd fit in better. All right, I guess we're about ready to wrap this up. He's about done. Let's put a little red on him for his eye. We go a little bit bigger than that. I kind of like the small one though. That's a good size. Okay, I think these guys are pretty much done. I'll probably do some touch-ups off camera and then spray him down. I got to do his little squiggle on his mouth, and I'll probably do some black outlines here and there to make him a little cartoony. But then, yeah, I'd say this is pretty much done. We can probably wrap this up. So let's put this guy aside up in his little corner. I think Kilton's pretty much done too. We just need to maybe give a little highlights to his brush there. Oh yeah, this guy's probably gonna have to get. I need to do a little gray paint surgery over here real quick. Get rid of some of that red. Let me see if I can do this without messing him up. Yeah, I think he's gonna have to be repainted there a little bit. All right, I'll fix that leg later. All right, so let's put him over here. Let's put this little thing over here. And then I think we just need to touch up his base a little bit with some color. What color to use? A little burnt sienna and maybe some of this tan. Let me see here. Maybe just the tan by itself, actually. Just put a little sand on this thing. Yeah, I think that'll work. That should work just fine. Okay, so there's Kilton. I think we got his business taken care of. We got his eyes in there. It looks like he's in good shape. I think we can probably just prime him up and or maybe touch up this black a little bit and then just put a little clear coat on him. We're good to go. All right, folks. Thank you very much for stopping by and visiting and letting me paint these in front of you. I hope you like the way they turned out. I kind of like them. So, yeah, the bright red looks a lot better, I think, too. But, yeah, they're going to need a little bit of touching up, but I think for the most part they're done. We will call this a day, and thanks everybody for stopping by. That was a very weird 3.5 hours. I didn't expect to be painting for that long. But, yeah, appreciate it. Any of you new subscribers. Once again, the 200th subscriber, his name was, I believe, let me just make sure. If you turned in, let's see, your name was Landon Haldfass. So that's Landon
I think. Yeah, Landin, and then HALBF as in Frank, AF, I guess ASS, Halbfass. I don't know if that's your made up name or a real name. Whoever you are, if you're watching this and you want a little sticker, I'll be happy to mail you one. If not, you're not obligated to. But you were number 200. Congratulations. And thanks everybody again for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I do stuff on Twitch too, but I kind of like YouTube personally. Twitch is okay for live stuff. I really like to be able to edit and post stuff whenever I can. So, I'll be probably back and forth, but I don't want to neglect you guys. Not neglecting you. Oh no. All right, we'll talk again. Thanks, and you guys have a great Sunday. Bye.